Do we know what our challenge is going to be about, or have we figured that out yet?
We have no idea.
Okay. I felt for just a second I delayed it and watched that to ask that question just because I didn't think.
Just look,
I
fake
missed
it till
something.
you make it, Corey.
I might have missed
Fake
something.
it till you make it. Okay, guys, this is Thursday night. Like I said earlier today, it is Thursday night. It's garbage day, and it's also the Car Guy and SIXFAN show. And as you can see by the panel tonight, we've got a slew of personalities, I should say, on the channel tonight. So let's go through and we'll introduce everybody. So I am Jason. I am the Car Guy of this operation, and over here
is SIXFAN or straight SIXFAN. Of course, Grant Tommy here. That is, I'm playing the role of co-host tonight. But down below me, we have.
I'm Corey. I'm with Craving Cars. And step into a Slim Jim. I don't know. I got nothing. Craving Cars. Subscribe. And
so that leaves us with.
And right below me is.
And then, yeah,
I'm Ryan. My
way.
channel name is Boost Rodeo, and we are just a couple dads who do a lot of rad stuff with cars.
Yes, you do.
Absolutely. So before we get going too far into tonight's live stream, Grant, why don't you hop over to the chat and see who all has joined us this evening?
Oh, man. Well, we had some early arrivers, so we've got a long list of people to go through. We've got Restoration, Coastal Auto Reaction, Robert's Garage, Left 4 Dead Garage, Rusty Mobley, who I think is new to the chat, Roy Marco's Garage. We have Restoration. We have Uncle Bobo, Real World Garage. If I'm not repeating anything, Prepping Life. Wow, the list goes on and on and on. Jim Johnson, Haggard Hot Rods, King Eric, the greatest of all. Of course, you know we almost can't get started without King Eric. Grimm's Auto Service, and Darren's. Oh, the scroll button got crazy on me. Dustin Cowell, Kevin. Oh wow, Zazueta, 66 Nova Mino, a Classic Driver's Garage, and I think we got them all.
I do see Dustin Caldwell, who's a high school buddy of mine coming in from Ottawa. Thanks, Dustin, for jumping in there. Daily Driven Death Traps is here. So tonight's episode is kind of a couple of things. But before we get going too far, I also want to make sure that all of you guys know that we are having a giveaway at the end of this season. And when you watch the live stream on my channel, every dollar you spend in the super chat gets you a chance to win a brand new Forever Sharp steering wheel. Forever Sharp has partnered with us. They're a great steering wheel company. I've got one on my old Chrysler Cordoba. So if you guys do throw some super chats in there tonight, for every dollar you spend, it's going to go in for a draw on this brand new Forever Sharp steering wheel at the end of the season.
Well, we thought we lost Ryan there for a second. I think maybe the cannon or whatever he shoots on, maybe the battery wasn't fully charged. We got some cool error messages on our end, but happy to have him back. But yeah, tonight's episode, we want all to be about, well, we're dusting off a challenge that we tried last year, which was called the Solo B-Roll Challenge 2020. And since 2020 was a disaster for everybody, it did not go off the way we had wanted it to. But we said, you know what? We had a good enough time doing it the first time. Let's do it again and let's make it our own. And so we invited back the usual suspects, Corey and Ryan, to kind of help us launch again for 2021 Solo B-Roll Challenge 2021. And we will get into the rules here in a second, but we wanted everybody in the chat to understand that what's at stake here. The four of us will be kind of judges or panelists to decide who creates the best Solo B-Roll 2021, and we will give away a prize, and that prize is, Corey, do you want to talk about what the prize we're thinking of giving away is?
The prize we were thinking of giving away is, are we talking about this guy? This little thing? Okay.
Yes.
The Deity D3 Pro mic. It's camera mountable. I actually got it hooked to my computer. You can actually use it many different ways. It's got a battery in it, the lithium battery that stays charged for like 50 hours of listening. It's got I can't show you because I'm actually using it, so I don't want to point it away from me. But it's a cool mic. Let's just put it that way.
It is a cool mic, and I think it's something that anybody who is a YouTuber who is trying to build their arsenal of cameras, mics, whatever stuff that you're using to kind of get these, really good productions going, a microphone is one of those key things. And we've all basically got to learn how to use the stuff that we have. And, if you guys want to enter in on this solo B-roll challenge, then, if we determine that your challenge or your entry is the best, then that is something that will go up for grabs on that. So we want to talk a little bit about what exactly the solo B-roll challenge is. And last year we all participated in a 60-second challenge that involved one camera. You were under a 60-second timeline, and that was basically one person. So you had to do it by yourself, obviously solo. The challenge was doing it within 60 seconds and putting something together by yourself that was plot worthy, something that somebody wanted to watch. And this year, Grant, maybe we can talk a little bit about the little bit of a rule change that we've decided to go with. So why don't we talk about that?
Yeah, happy to talk about the rule change, but I want to kind of send it over to Ryan for a second, and because I think Ryan might be one of the best equipped to explain to the crowd. If we're throwing around jargon, B-roll, what the heck does B-roll mean? So for those who don't know what B-roll is, Ryan, take it away.
Yeah, so B-roll is typically known as like your filler shots. It's the pretty stuff you use to fill those gaps in a story where there's talking points. And so this is something that's really trendy on YouTube right now. If you guys follow anyone like Matty Hapoya, who's where we originally got this challenge from, or Peter McKinnon, or there's a lot of automotive channels who've really dove in and started shooting this style of kind of cinematic footage. And so in between telling your story, you leverage B-roll, which are kind of those beautiful pan shots, and sometimes they can be tight to show off details of what you're talking about, and other times you want them to be wide to really show the scene and kind of tell the story of where everything's happening at. And so the way you use those really, really advances the story. And the challenge with this one is, one, you got to tell a story. Last year it was in a minute. This year, luckily, you get a minute and a half. But it's really hard to build a nice story arc in a minute and a half. So that's challenge number one. And two is you got to film it all yourself, which means all your shots got to be locked off, or you got to find a way to hold the camera while it's moving. And so it puts a lot more thought into that challenge. And it's really designed to make you guys kind of get out of your comfort zone and do something that's tough. And at the end of the day, it's going to make all of us that do it better YouTubers and better filmmakers.
So yeah, Ryan did a great job. That is the rule change we are doing. 90 seconds is now the limit. And so what we'll ask you guys to do, we need to put a deadline on this. We need to say all entries must be submitted by, fill in the blank. And what we're asking everybody to do, if you want to take part in this, if you want to go after a deity external mic for your setup, we ask that in your title, you tag hashtag solo, the letter B, roll, ROLL 2021. Yes, I'm slurring my words already. Yes. But that's kind of like how we know you guys are entering in. So Jason, let's talk then maybe about what that deadline might be.
So if I remember correctly, last year we did it on March the 8th, which I believe fell on a Sunday. This year, March the 7th falls on a Sunday. And the way that we rolled that out with each other was one of us went live with our video at, say, 6 o'clock. And the next fella did it at 6:15, 6:30, 6:45. And within an hour, everybody's video was out there for everyone to watch. And this year, I think what we're going to do, that was a little bit of a cluster, maybe, to try and organize that to get everything going. But maybe what we'll do is we'll just set a time and a date, and that's when they've got to go up. And at least that way we all know that it went live on this particular day. Maybe midnight would be the deadline to have it up there. At least we could go by the day. Corey, what do you think about setting a deadline like that?
I think that's great. Just like you said, like have everybody have it uploaded by midnight on. If you want to do the 7th, then by all means, let's do the 7th. That gives us plenty of time to kind of, get it together. Well, you would think it would give us plenty of time, but that day's going to get here quicker than you think. So, but that sounds great to me. I mean, that's awesome. And as further go, like as far as this mic goes, just so you know, on my channel, I've been using this mic for a while. So all of my videos pretty much from majority of, I don't know, the last 10 or so have been using this mic solely, including studio recording. So just so you know, there you go.
It's a super nice mic, and to anybody, I mean, I get asked a lot, like, what gear do you use and all that. And honestly, gear doesn't matter, but if you're going to invest in anything, mic and lighting, like your sound and your lighting design matter more than any lens or any camera that you start with when you're learning. And
Agreed.
So it's nice. Also, hi, Faye. I saw you in the chat. I got to say what's up.
Yeah, I just want to take a quick second just to recognize that Faye Hadley has jumped in here. Thanks, Faye, for coming over and being in the chat and joining along. So we talked about the microphone. We talked about what the challenge is. We talked about what B-roll is. Ryan, maybe you can kind of tell anybody who might be interested in entering in this challenge kind of what the thought process is and some of the things that they may want to go through, like maybe setting a storyline or what have you, to presenting some sort of a challenge to yourself as far as recording goes.
Yeah, and so I think that plays into what are we really going to be judging these on? Because, you know, for one, you got to hit the time limit. Two, you've got to be the only person who's, you know, really in the film and the only one shooting it. So it's all got to be self-shot. We can't be obvious somebody else is holding the camera for you and getting some movement in there. But the big one is, you know, we want it to look good. So put some thought into your edits and how the scene looks and make it pretty. But the biggest thing is telling a story, because that's really what hooks people. You know, it's quality over everything else in content, and it comes all down to story is the biggest component of quality. That's really what hooks people. It doesn't matter how beautiful your footage is if it doesn't have a storyline behind it that really pulls you in. So that's what we're looking for. And you know, if it's got some, I know last year a lot of us kind of put some things that kind of had either they can be funny. Some of us took that approach last year. Some of us went after kind of the more emotional, like something that meant a lot to us. And some of us just were doing really cool stuff that day. So we found some cool stuff to incorporate. So there's so many approaches. I'd say put your own spin on it. We want to see your guys' own personalities in these. But if you can incorporate a story arc, that's the main thing when you're thinking about it.
And so, of course, as Jason has the responsibility of post-production on this live stream, he has to kind of like fine-tune the description below. Like, he will put the rules in the description below, you know, probably within 24 hours of this, because I don't know what it is, but YouTube really takes a long time to process these live streams now. So we'll put the rules down in the description below as to what exactly is going on. But yeah, Ryan's exactly right. Storyline is key, and that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to help you guys elevate your game. How can I tell a story without actually literally me talking in front of a camera? Because it's easy to sit in front of a camera and blab on for 2 minutes, and that's not good for audience retention. That's not good for, you know, people just drag that little slider and they skip ahead in your video. So we want people engaged in your videos for as long as possible. So this 90-second challenge is we're all trying to make us all better. Like that's what the CARRGUY and SIXFAN show is about. We're trying to make each other better as content creators. So Corey, I know Jason's showing his footage from last year, but talk a little bit about, as you did Solo B-Roll Challenge 2020, what were some of the things that you felt like, as you were in the middle of it, like were challenges?
Of shooting way too much footage and sitting in front of your computer going, how am I going to get this down to a minute? So adding another 30 seconds is really kind of a godsend when it comes to doing this B-roll challenge. I believe with us all doing one before within 60 seconds or less, and I know we were all topping out that 60 seconds for sure. And, you know, really it's just, I think once you have a subject down, I always feel like you can't shoot too much. You can always sit down in front of your editor and go, crap, I didn't shoot enough. I didn't have the shot I thought I was going to get. I mean, you can't shoot too much, but then you also got to think you gotta put it all down. And what I thought was cool when we all did that all 4 of our videos were absolutely 100% completely different, except for the fact they were 60 seconds long.
Yeah, so just a quick question came from the chat from Ken at Spider Garage asking, is background music allowed? And of course it is. Just make sure it's royalty-free type music. And the video that I showed, I'm going to show everybody's here tonight that we did last year, but the video that I just showed did have music to it. Unfortunately, I can't kind of mix that into what we're doing here tonight with the live stream. but yeah, that's kind of the whole idea. And I think if I remember correctly, last year when I did all my cuts, I had so many different clips that I used. And when I put them all together without just the rough cut, I think I had 5 or 6 minutes worth of material that I had to shrink down to just 60 seconds. So what you guys just saw was exactly what I had played or what I had come up with at the end that was 60 seconds long. So Grant, is there anything that you want to add to some of the thoughts behind what it is that you want to encourage people to do or to be mindful of?
Yeah, well, I just want to kind of acknowledge the kind of comments going on over in the chat. I know Faye was saying, she's like, oh man, I'm going to have to rewatch this. A little out of context. I don't know what they're talking about. So just to kind of recap. So the solo B-roll challenge, hashtag solo B-roll 2021, we'll call it. Get used to saying that. So it's March 7th is our deadline, midnight on March 7th. Is that right? So everybody upload a video, put hashtag solo B-roll 2021 in your title, and we will all kind of acknowledge with a 90-second limit how good of a story, how creative can you get to tell a story. It's almost like, honestly, we encourage you not to talk. So I encourage all of you guys right now, if you're still struggling with like wrapping your head around what are we asking for, go watch each of our videos from last year. Jason showed his sort of. I tried 2 days ago to search hashtag solo B-roll 2020, and unfortunately, it's not a very good searchable term, which is weird because it's a hashtag and there's only 4 of us that did it. But yeah, we can reach out to any of us, DM any of us. We'll give you links to all 4 of our videos. But yeah, Ryan, anything you want to add to kind of what I'm saying?
I was going to say, I have an idea. Why don't after this, in the community tab, how you can repost an old video, why don't all 4 of us post, we'll make a post and say, this was our video from the solo B-roll last year. And that way it'll resurface it. So if you guys just watch on our channels for that community tab, you'll see that post come through and it'll give you guys an easy place to watch.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah. One of the other questions I saw is, does it have to be fresh shot footage? I don't know if do we want to make an official rule on that? My thought off the top of the head is I'd like to say yes.
I would say so, yeah.
I would think so too. That's kind of part of the challenge. Is it wouldn't be a challenge if you've already recorded it, right?
Well,
I think the idea is to go out and create new footage.
I mean, my 1 vote isn't going to usurp the 3 votes, but I was just going to say, I mean, so I'm just talking about myself as a creator personally. I don't keep any more than a 2-week backlog of my raw footage. I delete it because I just don't have the computer storage to do more than that. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. But like, if you have, to tell the best story, if you have some really good shot, from 2017, like, but you're shooting 75% of the rest of it today, like, I don't think there's any harm in if you keep more than 2 weeks, like me, you should be able to reap those benefits, I guess, is what I'm saying. But again, I'm in the minority here.
No, I think you might have just converted me, Grant, just because I'm thinking there could be a really cool scenario where you want a flashback scene or something. So I'd kind of say maybe we have a strong guideline is it can't all be like old footage, and preferably it's not a bunch of footage that you've already put in a video. But
I mean, seriously, how are we going to audit it anyway?
We're not going to audit it. But the goal is to create something new.
You guys suck. You got me converted too. So I think the idea here is,
Jason,
we're not going to be able, like Grant said, we're not going to be able to kind of, go back and look and see if it's fresh footage or not. We can't carbon date their friggin' video. So the idea is it's a challenge to create the 90-second video. Whatever you got, make it happen.
Yep.
I wanted to address 66 Nova Mino, which, by the way, I think you're new to the chat, so welcome. We appreciate you spending some time with us on a Thursday night. But he asked the question, is this kind of like making a movie trailer for your YouTube channel? And I would say yes and no. I mean, sure, if that's the way you want to do it, so you always have the 1 minute or the 90-second trailer for your, do that for yourself. Great. That's a great way to kind of double dip on the investment. But I will say no in the fact that it doesn't have to be. You can make it whatever you want, tell the most compelling story. That's what we're looking after, is the most compelling story. But I will say, so I mean, that's another way you can go watch my channel trailer. That was a challenge I put on myself. How do I explain what I'm about in 90 seconds? And that's another way of going about it. Corey?
I don't know that we've even mentioned this. I would think it'd be a given since we're all automotive related, but it has to be, I would think it would have, whatever you're doing in the subject has to be automotive related. How about that?
Yeah, good point. So what's on the screen right now is Ryan's video from last.
Man, I haven't watched this since last year. I kind of like forgot what I shot.
I had a hard time finding it, tell you the truth.
It's a good video.
But there it is. So yeah, it's too bad we couldn't get the music, because the music certainly does add a certain character to the actual footage that you're putting up there. And I purposely made a mention last year to Ryan that the family aspect that he brought into his solo B-roll challenge was kind of an emotional trick, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it. Not a trick, but he's got a son there, making reference to his father and stuff like that. So, you guys can use whatever you want. But one of the things that we kind of pointed out right at the very beginning was simply that there was 4 of us. We went 4 completely different directions on this challenge. If there's 20 people that are going to do this challenge this year, we're going to have 20 completely different videos. And Corey gives us a thumbs up, so there's no dead, awkward airspace. Thanks, Corey, for jumping in there and saving the dead air.
I'm looking forward to seeing all the different, looks and takes of other people's mind and their thought process on putting a short story together. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and I think Jason brought up a good point. I mean, there's telling a story like Ryan talked about, but then if you want to level that up, there's emotion. So how do you tell a story, and then how do you bring an emotion into that? So whether that's humor, whether that's like feel good, whether that's sadness, whether that's joy, whatever. Think about that long and hard, because again, we want everybody to have the 100% audience retention, right? Which is not attainable, but I reflect on some of the videos I pump out, and 33% ain't cutting it. So here we go. We are going to kind of give you guys an idea of what Corey put out back in 2020.
I loved yours, Corey, too, by the way. It was awesome.
Jason, you're muted.
Thank you.
I was going to say, sorry, there's no sound, but there was no me talking either. So I guess that fits right into the key of things. So as you can see here, Corey's kind of taken on the aspect of going out on an actual shoot to create the shoot. So, there's so many different angles that you can use, and there's so much, he's got 2 or 3 different shots of himself smirking. I mean, that's Corey. If you guys know him, that's kind of a classic thing of what he does when he's on camera. So, and there's the big Buick that he took into the car show. I remember you doing a special clip on this car. It was awesome. And thank you for the $5 super chat there, Narxoplexic Customs. Thank you so much. And he says he's in, by the way. So that's great.
Corey, I know you already spoke a little bit about the challenges of last year, but man, I mean, 2020 has been quite a year. And so your video was the precursor or the setup to you and I belong to a group on Facebook, the Central States Automotive YouTuber Creators group, and we wound up going to World of Wheels, which that's you helping a friend take a car to World of Wheels. But take us through that day as you're shooting that, as that became your idea for Solo B-Roll 2020. What was that experience like for you?
I would have to say more than likely it was perfect timing, because that wasn't my car. That was cooler than my car. And to have the opportunity to have done that and to taking that down there was kind of cool. So it was just kind of like, it just popped. It was, I thought about this because you got to think that was that towards the end of February? And we had probably a week and some change to get the challenge out. And I went for weeks going, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's like one of those, you try so hard, you can't seem to do it. It's like you overly try, and then you just come up blank, and then it popped. And then it went from one shot to the next shot to the next shot to the next shot, and shot that all in that one day. And but this, just kind of didn't think how well it would turn out. And I think we're all our worst critics. I'm definitely my worst critic. And I look at it as like, I actually liked what I did. How about that? And that says something good for that. And not to mention all you guys. It was a joy to see that all. And Ryan almost made me cry, but that's okay.
well, that's kind of the whole part of that of this challenge is putting the critiquing yourself aside and putting together a piece of artwork essentially that people can look at, that they can critique. And again, you got to kind of put that aside. When you go and you film over 5 minutes worth of video and have to compress that into 60 seconds, you're going to do an awful lot of critiquing on yourself to say, does that really matter? Do I need that little clip? Do I need that little bit of information to tell the story that I had?
Yeah, when we had Greg's Garage on in season 4, we had this topic come up, and he said sometimes he would edit the whole episode through, and then he watches it back. He's like, okay, what else can I get rid of? And that's what this is supposed to be about. Yes, I see King Eric's question, and I'm going to ignore it only because I think there's a better question earlier on in the chat that was asking, if your channel is about having more than, if it's not a solo channel, like that, it's always been a two-person channel. So I want to send this down to Ryan and kind of let you address this question. So if there's more than one person in the channel, how do we manage solo B-roll hashtag solo B-roll 2021?
Yeah, that's a good question. So on my channel, I have 2 people. Myself and my brother-in-law Josh are predominantly on the channel, but I do all the film work and the YouTube side of the editing, and he really is my counterpart in helping me wrench and just do cool stuff. And so in mine, I chose it was just me on it, but that's more because kind of similar to Corey, I literally had no idea up till the last minute. I said, hey, I'm going to go shoot this today. The Comet that I featured in it was given to me by my grandfather, and it's actually stored at my dad's house. So I went over to my dad's house, shot the whole thing, figured it out, came home, shot a couple little clips of the pictures I have in my garage, and then that was it. I did realize in mine, though, I actually had my son in it, so I technically did have another live person in my video as well. So I'm kind of trying to think through this. I think it's okay if you have more than one person in the video, in the shots, but I think the whole goal is that one person needs to film the whole thing, maybe? What's your guys' take?
I would say I would agree of one cameraman in that instant.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of where I was going to jump in there and say, again, we can't police it. We've got really no way to police this. We've got to be on your honor. But the idea is that if you're playing along in the spirit of the challenge, then you'll understand exactly what we're trying to pull here. So if there's 2 or 3 people who are a part of your channel, great. Get them all in the shot with a static camera, or with one person holding the camera, getting all 3 of you. The idea is it's camera shots. It's almost trick shots in some cases, that you've got to play with what you have, the knowledge that you have. Some of us don't have that kind of knowledge when it comes to trick shots like maybe Corey and Ryan might. But the idea is there's a great saying that Rev from Revstoration, he's in the chat tonight. He says, if you don't have the tool you need, use the tool you have. So the idea is you don't know what you don't know. So use what you got, I guess.
Yeah. And I think this challenge, the goal is to give you some new tools, because you're going to have to try some things you haven't done before. Like either, everybody can throw their camera on a tripod or on the workbench or whatever and get that wide shot, but try to think of some cool other ways that you can get some movement in there, or just cooler look. That's what I struggled with is, okay, I usually do a lot of movement, motion shots, but I got to be in this thing. So how do I hold it? And I didn't have an ideal camera that had any kind of shake or a gimbal or anything fancy when I shot mine. And so I kind of had to really think about, how do I get those cool shots? And that's the goal. It's supposed to be fun. The rules aren't super stringent. We're not like, oh, this is a challenge, somebody's going to win something. We're like, to the T, you're disqualified because we checked this off. It's more, it's more to have fun and push you guys as YouTubers.
And to make a point that what Ryan was saying is, he had to go more than one place. So he was at his place. He had to go to his dad's house to get that shot. Mine was the same thing. Mine started at my house, grabbing my stuff, my studio, and then the next shot you see, I'm actually at my buddy's house. That's not me leaving my place. And then, of course, we're driving all the way to downtown Kansas City, which was a 20-some-odd minute drive from where we're at. So it doesn't even have to be in the same place. You just be very creative about it, of where you do it and how you put it together.
I did see Ken from Spider Garage ask a question, and I'm going to use his quote unquotes here. He asks, field of focus. Is that allowed? And because I'm not great with my photography jargon, I'm going to default to Ryan or Corey to answer one of those.
Field of focus. What do you? Can you elaborate on that, Spider Garage?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I'm guessing there's depth of field, right? Or you want to focus on the foreground and blur the background, or focus on the background and blur the foreground. But
or you've got ones where you rack focus, so you like bring the into focus and then out of focus or something like that. Then that actually adds a lot of cinematicness to B-roll. So it's adding that depth of field and stuff. So
I see the drone shots question, and I think we talked about that last year. I don't think we disqualified drones, but the preference is the entire thing can't be shot on a drone because.
Well, I think what part of the challenge of the solo B-roll challenge is one person, one camera too, right? And I think that if you're going to use a drone, then use the drone.
Jason's correct. Yes, right. it was one camera.
Use the drone, but the drone's got to be for everything that you use. So you got to be careful with that too. Drones are great shots. They give you excellent shots, and it's a great tool to have. But because of the spirit of the challenge being one person, one camera, it kind of limits you as well.
Yeah, and that was the challenge with the drone. I remember now is it either, a drone's really easy to throw up and use like a tripod. It's static. But if you want to get those moving drone shots, you got to be controlling it while you're in the shot and walking, and kind of maybe try to hide that controller because it throws people off and ruins the shot. So.
Now, I will say I've seen some YouTube videos where they encourage using your drone because drones come equipped with a gimbal, more or less, a 3-axis image stabilizer. So you could physically walk around at like human level with your drone and get a really good, nice, steady shot. The problem is I get what you're sacrificing probably there is, if you've got a DSLR, depth of field's probably going to suffer from because, your sensor is tiny on a drone. Still, but we will leave that up to you guys. Certainly, yes. If you want to use the drone, but it's got to be 100% using the drone. You can get creative with that, walk around with it, sure, but you might be limiting yourself. So
I think, we're a half an hour into talking about this, and I think it's absolutely great that we can have this much conversation back and forth, not just with each other, but with people in the chat who are legitimately inquiring on what they can and cannot do. That shows me that there's going to be some people that want to do this. So let's go over the rules one more time. And once again, once we go off air tomorrow morning, I'll go back into the description of this video and I will write the rules out very plainly so you can understand what it is. And for those of us who are in the live stream tonight, try and make it a habit in your upcoming videos until we go live with this challenge to kind of keep those rules in there, maybe make note or make presence of this challenge in future videos. So it's one camera, one person, 90 seconds long. Everything else is up to you. The deadline for the challenge is going to be on March the 7th. It's a Sunday, so you've got till midnight to get it posted in order to qualify for the prize.
I want to piggyback on that, though. As we say midnight, do we want to pick one time zone so everybody...
Probably.
Let's put it this way. As long as it says that it was uploaded on March the 7th, the time doesn't matter. If it says the 8th, then you know it was after midnight, whatever time they put it up.
How about this? I will say, because Jason is the earliest of all the time zones, being in the Atlantic time zone, we will say Atlantic. I mean, if he looks at a video and it doesn't say March 7th, so you have to figure that out. Atlantic time is 1 hour in front of Eastern time, if you guys don't know that.
Right. So it's 9:30 for me right now. It's 8:30 on the East Coast. You guys, you and Corey are going to be on Central Time, and Ryan's way out in Pacific. So I guess, yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. I mean, are we going to be super, super particular on that? It depends on how many entries we have, I guess, but we want to make sure that it's fair for everybody. Ryan, Corey, do you guys have anything you want to add to that before we kind of shut this thing down tonight?
That makes sense to me as far as like, as long as it says it was uploaded by the 7th, because that would be before midnight for anybody really in whatever time zone they're in. So that would simplify that instead of trying to figure out time zones, or how far away you are or whatever. I'd say make it car oriented or have a car somewhere in there, since we're all automotive channels. That's about it. And have
Ryan, you
fun.
got anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that's good. I mean, we're gonna go out and find all these the next day, you know, as early as we can, and start pulling them and going through them. So it'll keep you guys honest. You won't have much slack, even if you try and sneak one in.
I did want to clarify in that Jason was recounting the rules kind of there as Prepping Life asked if an event is involved, what are the rules on other people being in the film at the event? And it doesn't matter how many people are in your subject, like your subject matter, the story you're trying to tell. It doesn't matter how many people are in it. We're just asking that there's one cameraman through all of this. So anyway, just want to kind of take that question head on. Jason, you know, we're sitting at about the 36-minute mark. Maybe we go through the old format, kind of talk about what's coming up on each other's channels.
Yeah, I was going to do that. I think we lost Corey's webcam there for a moment, and maybe he might still be there. I don't know. But just for those of you guys who are in the chat, don't forget, if you give $1 in the super chat, you're going to get entered in for a brand new Forever Sharp steering wheel, which we will draw for at the end of season 5. So don't forget about that. Also, we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to talk about something that is up and coming on their YouTube channel. Maybe we'll save Corey for the last, seeing how we've kind of lost him maybe. But Ryan, do you have something in the works on Boost Rodeo that you want to share with everybody?
I am technically still here.
Us cannon boys, the battery's dying. So in the spirit of you guys, we have a Boost Rodeo live stream that we've been doing. We do that every other week. So this we post every Tuesday. We post a video, and then the next following week we have a live stream, and then it's back to a video. So that's how we're alternating on the channel right now. We've had a really good season so far. We had Faye Hadley on. We had Aaron and Emily Reeves from Flying Sparks Garage, and next week I have Zach Wingfield of Zwing Films on. He does drifting. He's done some amazing film shoots all over the world. He went to Dubai for a Ceramic Pro and shot a full-fledged commercial, and just some crazy stories, SEMA builds. So that's really cool if you guys want to check it out. We're going to be doing that the rest of the season. We got a bunch more people we're about to announce. And then in between those, we'll have our regular stuff, which we've got a ton of stuff. We've got a pre-runner old Baja race truck. We've got some old cars. You guys saw the Cougar and the Comet that'll probably be coming up here pretty shortly. And then kind of our showcase cars are Toyota Supras. And then we've got an old Corolla rally car that's just way too much fun.
So Ryan, before we send it over to Corey to talk about what's coming up on his channel, we did get a question in from the chat, as Jason was showing there for a second. Kim Payne asks, "Where is your wallet?"
I think that means she probably stole it and is holding it in her hand at this moment right now, upstairs somewhere.
Sounds like an ongoing story. Anyways, Corey, now that you're back, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the things that are up and coming on Craving Cars?
Well, some of what I do, obviously with a lot of car show stuff, is a lot of it's being pushed back. Even World of Wheels that's supposed to be in February is now going to be at the end of March, if it's even going to happen. So I don't have a lot of things booked for a while. I don't know what this year is going to end up looking like for Craving Cars, or how much traveling I'm going to get the chance to do. I'm hoping to do a lot. But as far as recently that's going to be coming up, I do have a couple little stuff that I've worked on for me personally with my newest car. If anybody has been following up on my channel, I do actually have a new car that I got technically right at the end of September of last year. I've got one quick first impression video. I've got a whole video with me going, and I actually went to Seattle. Ryan, I went in your kind of territory. So I went all the way to Seattle and drove it back home, and I've got video of that whole thing, but there was something I wanted to put out first, and then that was going to come out. So have kind of a progression video and some maybe even a full review of this car. And if you haven't seen it yet, then oh well.
If I'm not mistaken, Corey, I don't want to spoil it too much, but a German auto manufacturer for the new car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I did also want to mention that, Corey, Craving Cars, please go into your YouTubes, go in the search bar, type in Craving Cars, because our buddy Corey's at 979 subscribers. And so if we could get him to that century mark, I think we would applaud that. But yeah, so please go check out his channel. Like I said, some German auto manufacturer built his car, and he drove it home from Seattle.
So I want to
go. Hold on. Go subscribe to Corey because he really deserves that 1K. Like his stuff's really good. So just do it right after this.
That didn't even show it. I'm at 980 at the moment.
Okay, so
we can do that. We can do that by tomorrow. Come on, guys.
Yeah, there's 53 people in the chat here, so there's got to be at least some people who want to go over there and look at what he's got and chime in with a subscribe.
You might find something you like. You never know.
You never know. Certainly not the personality. No, I'm kidding.
If you don't go and look, you won't ever find out.
So I did want to make a note to Ryan to let him know that I assume it's his significant other has entered in 2 ballots for the Forever Sharp steering wheel for, I assume, might be her vehicle. Does she have a vehicle that's hers?
Yeah, and we're kind of working on getting her a Supra of her own at the moment, so she might have something pretty cool here pretty quick. We'll see.
Look pretty snazzy with a Forever Sharp steering wheel in it, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Definitely would.
And thanks to Real World Garage for his $4.99. We will round that up to $5 for 5 entries into that steering wheel as well. Grant, anything else that we want to cover? Oh, I guess we got to cover Grant. What's coming up on SIXFAN?
Well, real quick, before I cover up what to expect on my channel, I did want to address Coastal Auto Reaction asked if it was cool if he spread the word on his live stream on Saturday at 5 about Solo B roll 2021. Absolutely.
Sunday.
Don't dare miss it. That kind of stuff. Yes, please do. Yeah, so what's coming up on the Straight SIXFAN? If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that this past what was that, Tuesday, over my lunch break, I drove 20 miles northeast of myself and reunited with my first vehicle, 1995 Ford F-150, 4.9 liter, 5-speed. If you want to know where Straight SIXFAN came from, it was junior high school Grant, 16-year-old Grant, coming up with a Yahoo email address based off of his first vehicle. So I was able to reunite with my first vehicle. It's ironic that the guy I sold it to the year I graduated from college lives in the same county I live in now. And the guy didn't even take off the window stickers off the back window. My Eric Church, my Rough Country, my Kansas State University sticker were still, they were peeling. They were still on the back window, so it was really cool. So that video isn't the next one coming up, but it will be coming up down the pike. Jason, what's coming up on Old Car Guy?
Well, tomorrow's video is coming up, and it's going to be the unboxing of the EFI for Project Dale the Truck. And a lot of you guys kind of have already guessed what it is, but nevertheless, it's there. And it's a sponsored video. I'm pretty proud to announce that it's a sponsored video for that EFI. So guys, go ahead and make sure you catch that. There's also a little bit of a giveaway at the end of the video, so make sure you watch clear to the very end. Novotaz has also given another $2. Sobering Restoration has done $6.99. We'll round that up to $7 for 7 entries. Streetcar Culture has given $5 Australian, which I think actually, in all honesty, is pretty close to $5 Canadian. That's pretty almost on par there. And a Coastal Auto Reaction with another $13.99. Thanks so much, Luke, for doing that. And we are wrapping up this show. Thanks, Corey and Ryan, for taking some time out to help us unveil this whole solo B-roll challenge.
Awesome. Thank you guys for being awesome. Basically.
Absolutely. It's always fun to be on with you guys. We appreciate it.
Well, we certainly appreciate it as well.
Well, I also want to, piggyback on, Coastal Auto Reaction's big thing is community, not competition. And we wouldn't do this any other way without getting, like we said, getting the band back together. So we're happy to have you guys back. And I think it's going to be fun. Of course, we'll all make our own videos too, but we're not eligible for the prize. It's going to be fun watching what hopefully 20 other people are coming up with.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing. So we're still going to do it. We're still going to do our solo B-roll for 2021. But I don't think we even clarified the fact that we're not going to make ourselves eligible for that prize. Obviously, we're coming good for the prize. So we want to make sure that you guys all have that opportunity. On that note as well, if you choose that you're going to do it, it might be worth your while to send either me or Grant a quick private message or an email, however you would normally get a hold of us, to let us know that you're doing it. That kind of just gives us an idea of what to expect. I'm just throwing that out there. I just think knowing what's coming down the pike is a good idea. I certainly hope that we're not the only 4 doing it this year.
I feel like we have a 5th. I kind of reached.
Grant's lagging.
He's got that sweet follow through on his jump shot right now, though. Yeah.
So
Michael Jordan. Dang it. I think what he was getting at was he was saying that he had a 5th person who has committed to it already. I think that person is in the chat tonight. I've seen them scrolling through and commenting down there. Also, I want to make note, Corey, you're at 992. Guys, I think it's fair to say that I think we're going to wait right here until Corey hits 1,000 subscribers. That's only 8 more people. If you haven't done it, go over to Craving Cars, subscribe. I'm not even going to tell you what he's got on his channel, but I'm going to guarantee that you're not going to be disappointed. Go over there and take a look and see what he's got. He's at 992. I keep refreshing it here every couple of seconds, and it's not changing. So go on over there and hit him up, because he's got lots of good stuff over there.
Ooh, 993 now.
There you go.
I believe that was Greasy Boy Customs.
994.
Oh, the hairs are starting to stand up on the back of my neck.
Yeah, I feel like we need
I just had him shaved.
I feel like we need the slot machine like sound drop here. Ding! Or the old gas pump. Ding!
Yeah.
Ding! Ding!
777. Let's go 777s.
Yeah.
Or 1000. Whatever.
Well, yeah, we appreciate Faye Hadley and everybody else in the chat, of course, for joining in. But she made a comment that kind of congratulating you, Jason, on the sponsorship with FS steering wheels. I did want to remind everybody that the CARRGUY and SIXFAN show, because this is a joint operation, we bounce back and forth between my channel and Jason's. So next week it will be on my channel, same bat channel, same bat time. But yes, as Jason is sponsored by Forever Sharp Steering Wheels, we do have a giveaway on my channel as well. We'll talk about that next week, what that is. Corey,
ladies and gentlemen,
he did it.
I'm at 1,000. I'm at a quadrigit. I'm so happy.
The boys got you.
Now I sound like a little boy. I'm going to mute myself.
All right, guys. He's made it to 1,000 subscribers. Thanks so much for helping him get there. I'm glad that we were here to be a part of that, to be able to experience the tears rolling out of his eyes and him curling up in the corner in the fetal position. But great. It's so much. That's kind of what we had started this CARRGUY and SIXFAN show 2 years ago, to be able to do things just like this. So thanks for being a part of it, and thanks for helping to get Corey up to 1,000 subscribers.
Can I add one more thing?
Go ahead.
I really, truly want to thank you, Jason and Grant, because when I first met you, I was actually just a little over maybe 100 subscribers. Those few years ago, not quite 2 years ago, and it taken me this long to go to the 1,000 mark. So, but I got big spikes when I first went on the show with you guys. That helped out a big bunch. And Grant, I know we did a quick little collab one time. That was really cool. Wish I could do with all of you. That'd be cool. All 4 of us can do a collab together. Oh man.
Well, Ryan and I on our September vacation talked about meeting in Cheyenne, Wyoming, as the halfway point between Kansas City and Spokane. So Corey, if you're up for Mo Car Rally to Cheyenne, Wyoming, let's make it.
Poor Jason.
Maybe.
Damn you, Bobby.
No, but with that,
just gonna have to get a plane ticket to Kansas City.
Corey, really happy to share this milestone with you. But I guess with that, why don't we let Ryan close this out? on this show.
Oh man. Thanks everybody for watching tonight. And next week, as you heard, it's on Grant's channel. So Straight Six Fan, and we will see you guys next time over there. We'll be in the comments rooting them on.